Have you ever just stopped to think about how much life there is on this planet? I mean, everywhere you look, from the bottom of the ocean to the top of a mountain, it is just buzzing with living things. It's incredible, it's beautiful, and let's be honest, it's kind of chaotic. So the big question is, how do we even begin to make sense of it all? All right, let's get into it.
To show you what I mean, let's start with a question. Take a look at this animal. What do you call it? Is it a puma, a cougar, or a mountain lion? Now, depending on where you're from, you probably have a pretty strong opinion on this. But which one is the right name?
Well, surprise, it's a trick question. The answer is, they're all correct, kinda. See, these are all just different local names for the exact same animal, whose official scientific name is Puma concolor. And right there you see the problem, don't you? If a scientist in Canada is studying a cougar and another in Brazil is studying a puma, they might be publishing research on the same animal and not even realize it. These local names just create a ton of confusion.
And this isn't just about one big cat, not by a long shot.
The scale of this naming problem becomes absolutely massive when you realize just how many different species we're talking about. Get ready for this number, 1.8 million. That's how many species scientists have identified and given a name to so far. And that number goes up all the time. Now, just imagine if each of those 1.8 million species had 5, 10, maybe 20 different local names, it would be total, absolute chaos.
So this brings up a really crucial question. How can scientists from all over the world, who all speak different languages, have a clear and precise conversation about the exact same organism? There had to be a better way. They needed a standardized system that everyone, everywhere could agree on.
And that's exactly what they created. You can really think of it as a universal language for the entire field of biology.
The system has a fancy-sounding name, binomial nomenclature. But let's break it down. Bi, like in bicycle, means two. Nomen means name, so it's literally a two-name naming system. The genius who came up with this was a Swedish botanist, Carolus Linnaeus, and his big idea was beautifully simple. Every single organism gets one and only one unique scientific name that's recognized all over the world. No more confusion.
And the system itself is so elegant. Let's take the mango, for example. Its scientific name is Mangifera indica. The first part, Mangifera, is the generic name. You can think of this as its last name. It tells us the broader group or genus it belongs to. The second part, indica, is the specific name. That's like its first name. It pinpoints the one unique species. That's it. Now, of course, you can't just go around making up names willy-nilly. Like any language, this one has a grammar, a clear set of rules that everyone follows to keep things consistent. The rules are actually pretty straightforward. First, the names are always in Latin, or at least treated like they are, which is why we write them in italics. Second, the first word, the genus, always gets a capital letter. Third, the second word, the species, is always lowercase. And fourth, sometimes you'll see an abbreviation at the very end, like Lin for Mangifera indica. That's just a little shout out to the author who first described it. In this case, Linnaeus himself. Okay, so problem 1 solved. Every species gets a unique, universal name. But that leaves us with another huge challenge. Now we have 1.8 million names. It's like having millions of books just thrown in a giant pile. We need a library, a way to organize everything. We need a system for classification. And that system is called taxonomy. It's basically the science of being a librarian for all of life. It's the whole process of sorting all living things into these convenient groups called taxa based on the characteristics they share. Taxonomy is what turns that chaotic pile of organisms into a perfectly organized library of life. The way this library is organized is in a hierarchy, with different levels or ranks that go from the most general all the way down to the most specific. So you start at the bottom with an individual species. A bunch of similar species get grouped into a genus. Then those get grouped into a family. Then an order, class, phylum, and all the way up to the biggest category of all, a kingdom. And here's the key principle to remember. The lower you are on that ladder, the more things the members of a group have in common. As you move up from species towards kingdom, the groups get bigger and more diverse, and the number of shared traits gets smaller. All right, I know that sounds a little abstract, so let's make it real. Let's walk through a few examples you definitely know to see just how powerful this system is. Let's start with a lion, Panthera leo, and a regular house cat, Felis catus. Now, we all know they're both cats, but they're obviously very different species.
Taxonomically, they're different enough that they get placed in two separate genera. Panthera is the genus for the big, roaring cats, while Felis is for the smaller ones.
But if we take one step up that hierarchy, zoom out one level, all of their shared cat-like features bring them together. So both the Panthera genus and the Felis genus get grouped into the next level up, the family Felidae. That's just the official scientific way of saying the cat family. Let's zoom out again. We've got the cat family, Felidae, and over here we have the dog family, Canidae. Now, what do they have in common? Well, they're both primarily meat eaters, for starters. So at the next level up, both of those families get grouped together into the order Carnivora. See how it works? You just keep building from specific to more general. And this table here really shows the whole system in action. You've got 4 totally different things: a human, a housefly, a mango, and wheat. And you can see their complete address in the Library of Life. We, Homo sapiens, share the class Mammalia with cats and dogs, but the housefly is way over in the class Insecta, and the mango and wheat are plants, so they're in their own whole other set of categories. It creates this amazing, elegant map of the entire living world.
At the end of the day, the idea is actually pretty simple. It's about taking the unbelievable diversity of life and, as our source material puts it, grouping it into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. It's just smart, logical organization. So we have this incredible system, this great library of life that lets us name, organize, and really understand the relationships between every living thing we know about. But here's a final thought for you. We know there are millions more species out there that we haven't even discovered yet. So as we find them, and as we add them to the shelves of this library, what new connections are we going to find? What new stories will the Book of Life have to tell us?